Okay, we are continuing on in Parshat Bahalotcha, in the first book of the Rebbe's Sichas. And the Rebbe tells a story that once Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai sent his son, Rabbi Elazar, to get a blessing from two great rabbis. And the Rebbe's gave him blessings that seemed to be really bad things. And he came back and told his father, these are really bad things. And his father said, no, they're really good. And he explained to them why they were really good. Explain the good in them. Says the Rebbe, what's going on? If they were really good, then how could Rabbi Shimon reveal it? Right? Why only Rabbi Shimon could reveal it? Why didn't his son see it also? He said, because that's the idea of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, is to reveal the good that is in apparently bad things. To transform the bad into good, to sow the good which is inside of it. The Rebbe said this is a way of dealing with good that's not explained in the Tanya. In the Tanya, it gives three advices to people that are experiencing misfortune. I'm just going over what we said yesterday. God forbid a person should not have misfortune, but there's three ways of looking at it. The Tanya explains. And that is, number one, that now these things are bad, but in the future, if you accept suffering with a happy way, knowing that it's coming from the hand of God, then in the future you'll reveal the good. Future, the good will be revealed to you. You'll see that it really was a good thing in the future. Says the Rebbe, okay, but then now you have to wait till the future. What's the future? The raising of the dead. Who knows when it's going to be? But, it is good, but now all you feel is bad. Another way is to know that misfortune is God's way of refining you, getting rid of your misdeeds, your bad mistakes that you made, your sins, your low level of understanding, your low level of appreciation of the world. If a person accepts his misfortunes in a happy way, so he rises up above his old personality, he becomes less of an egotist. The Rebbe said, okay, that's pretty good, but the problem is you have to suffer. Then there's a third way that Tanya talks about, and that is to know that misfortunes are tests. They're tests from God, and that shows how much God loves you, that he puts you in a test. Like Abraham, we had to withstand 10 tests, and Moshe was tested, and David HaMelech. These are only just tests from God to see if you are really connected to him. So it's good, but that's also wonderful, and it's true, but the problem is the difficulties still remain difficulties. It's just how we treat them. Says the Rebbe, but Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai gave a new way, that you actually transform the difficulties to good. You see the good which is in every bad thing. There's the story about Nachum Ish Gamzu. It's a Gamzu the Torah that the Rebbe said was the same type of a level as Rabbi Shimon, as far as misfortune goes. The story goes that Nachum Gamzu was sent by the Jewish delegation, I guess, of Palestine, at that time it was called Eretz Canaan, whatever it was called, Eretz Israel. He was sent by the delegation of Israel to go talk to the Romans and to convince them to rescind some terrible decree that they made. And just to show a nice jest, so they gave him a box of diamonds, jewels, to give to the king of Rome. King of Rome is Caesar or whatever it is. Now the king of Rome, he needs diamonds. He could have taken them himself, but nevertheless to show that the Jews won. On the way, Nachum Ish Gamzu stopped at an inn, and the innkeeper, when he was asleep, stole the diamonds and put in the place dirt, sand. And Nachum Ish Gamzu didn't sense it at all, that something was wrong. And he came in front of the king and said, Your Majesty, I'm coming from the Jews. I want you to rescind this terrible decree, and just to show as a gesture of our love and our friendship and admiration of the king, here we have a box of diamonds. He opens it up, there's a bunch of sand. The king said, what, yeah, I'm lacking sand? This is some sort of a practical joke. And suddenly appears this very honorable person. Everybody was very impressed by him, and really it was Elijah the prophet. Well, Elijah the prophet had passed away 800 years earlier or something, 700. So he said, Your Majesty, I think you don't understand what this sand is. This is not regular sand. This is the sand that Abraham, the Jews came from this man Abraham, and the whole world was against him. How did he win the battles? He fought these big battles. There was big battles that he fought. And how did he do it? He had the sand. And he would just throw a little bit of it at the enemy, and it would exactly bullseye between everybody's eyes. The king said, let's try this. He brought a big board or something, and put 100 bullseyes, took a little bit of the sand through, and sure enough, it turned into arrows, and they went exactly into this. The king said, okay, this is wonderful. He called his enemies out, said, all of my enemies, me against you. Thousands and thousands of people were there. He takes a little bit of the sand, throws it right between the eyes. The king has solidified his rulership. The king comes back and says to Abraham, I never saw such a thing like this. What do you want? Go into the treasure house, take whatever you want. This, all I want is that decree. To Nachamish Gamzu. Went to Nachamish Gamzu. He went into the treasure house, he found the decree, he tore it up, and the king said, because you gave me this amazing gift, I'm going to give you 10 chests filled with gold and silver, whatever you want. And so it was. And there's a sort of a sad ending to the story that Abraham, Menachem Gamzu, on the way back, the innkeeper who stole his diamonds saw that he had all these diamonds, and he said, what's going on? He said, I don't know, somebody changed the diamonds that I had in this for this magic sand that's worth millions. The innkeeper said, wonder who did that. Well, good luck. I'm really happy to hear from you. He lives immediately. The innkeeper filled up about 1,000 chests full of the sand, and he brought it to the king. Your Majesty, here's the sand. What is it? So this is the sand that the Jew brought. Let's try it. He throws the sand. Nothing happens. He says, okay, this sand will be used to bury you in. And he buried in the sand. Happy ending. What does it come to show? So the Alter Rebbe, the first Rebbe of Chabad, says, why did the sand turn into diamonds? Oh, I'm sorry, I left out a big part of the story. The king, when he opened up the box that everyone thought was diamonds, and he found there was sand, he got very angry. And Nachum Ish Gamzu said, Gamzu Latova, this is also good. This also is good. And sure enough, then after that came Elijah the prophet, and he told the whole thing. That's a very essential part of the story, and I left it out. So the first Rebbe of Chabad said, why did the sand turn into diamonds by Nachum Ish Gamzu? Because he believed in God. And he said, Gamzu Latova. In other words, he had the power also to transform bad to good. That's the point. So this is much better than if misfortune comes. God forbid it should not come at all, but if misfortune comes on us in order to give us a test, or that we should receive it in happiness and will reveal it in the end, or it should come to purify us. All these things are very wonderful and very nice, but the best one is that the bad is transformed to good. Said the Rebbe, that is the idea of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Tet, Adavorim Shala'el Kashurim Gam L'Shabbat Zeh. This is also connected to this Shabbat, this coming Shabbat. The Shabbat that's after Lag BaOmer, which is going to be exactly our day. I'm on my pages 262. One second. There we go. Al Shabbat, on Shabbat it says, Mi shetorach berev Shabbat yochel b'Shabbat. Regarding the holy Shabbos, it says that a person who prepares for Shabbat will have a meal on Shabbat. Hamashmut shel erev Shabbat. What does it mean? Enenu davka yom shishi, who you prepare for Shabbat. It doesn't mean only on Friday, but it means all of the days of the week which are before it. Echil, beginning from Sunday. Shekavar me'az, you can always begin for Shabbat. What's this got to do with Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai? We'll see in a second. Looking, therefore, when we say every day of the week from Rishon, this is the day, the first day for Shabbat. This is the second day for Shabbat. When we say, before they say the Tehillim, the Psalm of the day, Hayom Yom Rishon l'Shabbat and L'Sheni l'Shabbat. We count the days from the Shabbat. Yom Rishon, Yom Sheni. Even in Hebrew, we don't say Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. What day is it? Yom Sheni, Yom Shlishi, Yom Revi. What does it mean, Yom Revi? The fourth day from Shabbat. This also counts from the previous Shabbat to the next Shabbat. Ramban, like the Ramban said, that by means of counting the days coming into Shabbat, we fulfill one of the 10 commandments. Remember the day of Shabbat to make it holy. How do we remember the day of Shabbat? By counting every day. He says this is the second day, third day, fourth day of the week. Therefore it says in the Tefillot, Kol Shesh Yamim Ashavua Olot Mekablut B'Shabbat. Therefore it says that the prayers of the 6 days of the week are elevated by the Shabbat. Shabbat, the whole thing of Shabbat is elevation, going out of the world, being a vessel for holiness. Ein zastira, this is not a contradiction. Excuse me, let me say. Sorry, 1 second. Yeah. This is not a contradiction to what it says in the Gemara, Sharaka Yomim Achronim, that only the last days of the week, beginning from Yom Revi'i, they are attached to Shabbat. And the first days of the week, they refer back to the previous Shabbat. Therefore, you can make Havdalah until the Yom Shlishi, third day of the week. Havdalah is a prayer you say after Shabbat, which enables you to eat for the next day. So if a person sleeps or whatever, forgets to make Havdalah, you can still make Havdalah until Tuesday. Also, they say it's possible to learn the portion of the week, the previous week. Some people, they read right before Shabbat, they read every sentence of that week's Torah reading. They read it twice, and then they read the Targum, the translation of Onkelos, once. You can do this up to Yom Shlishi. Why? Because these are the days which are connected to Shabbat. We just said that all 6 days are connected to Shabbat. Says these are two different things. Like it's explained in another place, the inyan of, the spiritual inyan of Hamshachos, the blessings that are drawn down of Shabbat. That these blessings reach only up to the third day, before and afterwards. But all of the 6 days before Shabbat, they are a preparation for Shabbat. The Shabbat that comes after them. And therefore, you have to, all the 6 days before Shabbat, we have to elevate it. So therefore, what's the Rebbe talking about this thing about Shabbat? The Shabbat that comes after Lag BaOmer, therefore, has been prepared for by Lag BaOmer, and it includes Lag BaOmer also. Okay, what is Lag BaOmer? Lag BaOmer is the strangest holiday, maybe in Judaism. It's not written in the Torah. It's not written in the rabbis. It's the day that Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai passed away about 1,900 years ago. On that day, he revealed his deepest secrets of the Zohar. And since that time, he revealed this book, the Zohar. Since that time, millions and millions and millions of Jews have gone up to his grave. On the day of Lag BaOmer, which is going to be this Wednesday night, there'll be several 100,000 Jews at one time up there. In the course of the day, they say for the 24-hour period, there comes at least 500,000 Jews. There's nothing really quite like it in Israel. I don't know if that many Jews visit the Kotel at one time. The Kotel is the most popular tourist attraction in Israel, but Rabbi Shimon's grave is the second most popular. And the Kotel is in the ancient city, pictorial city of Jerusalem, and Miron is nothing. It's like in the middle of a woods, nothing really special. Just the grave of Rabbi Shimon is there. The Keshelin Nistalkos, that was the day that Rabbi Shimon passed away. What happens when a person passes away? Pretty sad day, right? Why are we all happy? It says the Yom Nistalkos, the day of a passing away of a tzaddik. Nichlalas va'ola kol avodat Hashem, all of the work of God, the service that he served God, va'amal aruchne, and his spiritual efforts, sha'amal nafish kol yamei chaya, that his soul did all of the days of its life. Umishum shebashat istalkut mistayemet avodat neshama, because at the time when a person dies, his soul has finished its work in this world. The soul leaves the world, and it leaves the body. Afilu keshaliyah lavo pam nosefet begilgol, even though that this soul might be reincarnated, it'll come again in a body. But nevertheless, when a person dies, it finishes the work he was supposed to do in that particular body. For this reason, yesh yitron liyom estalkos, for this reason, somehow or other, it's better the day that a person passes away than any other day of his life. In fact, even all of his life, because this last day of his life, this includes everything that he did, sum total. Then it's the whole thing. Even more. I mean, listen, dying is not a good thing. It's a bad thing. But on the other hand, everybody dies, right? Everybody dies. Nobody gets away from it. Everyone dies. What is the purpose of dying? If people didn't die, so you think, listen, I can just keep on doing whatever I want to. Right? Why did Adam die? Adam, when he ate from the tree, he brought death into the world. Why? Herschel, you understand with me? Why? Why did Adam die? Why? Because if Adam would have said, listen, all I want to do is serve you, God. I'm just interested in doing what I'm supposed to do, right? That's what I'm supposed to do, is serve you. So God would have said, keep it up, right? No such thing as this. But as soon as he became selfish, he thought about himself. Then he said, listen, sometimes I want to serve you, sometimes I want to serve me. So God said, okay, if that's what you want. So you don't want to serve me all the time. In other words, you want to stop connecting to life, because God is life. So therefore, okay, one day everybody's going to die. You're going to die. Abraham died when he was 930 years old. Nowadays, you tell somebody he died 930 years old, you think, what the world would a person want to do? It must be very boring, right? What about a person living forever? That would be even more incredibly boring. But if a person is serving God, so every single second of his life is a new moment. It's a new second. It's not that a person says, oh, wow, I've been doing this for 10 years, 20 years. Every single second is he can't get enough of it. To serve the creator of the universe. Amazing accomplishment. He says, but nevertheless, since Adam did eat from the tree, so therefore even people that serve God every single instant of their life, they die. What happens then when they die? It says, what happens? All of the service, everything they did, every moment of their life, because every good thing is eternal. It doesn't go away. We just don't see it. Every single instant, it all joins up together to become one unit, and that is Uncle Sam, Uncle Joe. Right? That's him. It's like a book or like a movie. Right? When it finishes, that's the movie. That's the book. That's the whole thing. When a person dies, that's his whole life is one unit. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai was a very holy person. The last moment of his life, he revealed his deepest secrets. Let's see.
Was he going to tell the deepest secrets?
These secrets.
Well, he told him this already.
They're written in the Zohar.
But which part of the Zohar?
I'll tell you. That's it. I can't tell you. I'll tell you. No, I really can't tell you. The secrets of the Zohar are written in Parshas Nasi, and it's called the Edra Zutra. Zutra. Zutra means small. So it's called the small gathering. This is right before he passed away. It says his whole life he revealed secrets of the Torah. That's what he did when he was in the cave. He wrote the whole book of the Zohar. The Alter Rebbe in the Tanya says it probably only took him a few months to write the Zohar because he didn't repeat anything. He just rewrote everything once. But when that day that he passed away, he revealed the secrets of the secrets. And those are written there, but they're written in sort of Kabbalistic language, and that's what the Arizal and these other people come to explain. But even when they do explain, it's not things that you can understand. It's not telling you, how to create a rabbit or how to fix your car or something like that. And it's not telling you how to make blessings and fly in the air. It's talking about all these different levels of creation and the combinations of spiritual unities, that are done. And unless a person is really, really interested in that, it's not really practical in any way. Yeah. Take a look, sure. 100%. But if it's translated into English so that you can understand it, so that already takes away 99% of the mystery of it. There's just a couple of words, and who knows if what they translated properly also. Could be. But nevertheless, if it's translated into English, so English uses words that have some use to them, right? That they refer to something that people talk about. And these ideas in the Zohar, in the Idra Zutra, are not things that people talk about all the time. Talk about the inside level of Adam, the primordial man, how it unites with the ancient one of days on the lower aspect of the emotional. What does it mean? What does it mean? What is it talking about? Even if you understand what it means, what's it talking about? Nevertheless, so you can ask a question once again. So Rabbi Shimon revealed these big secrets. Who cares? I mean, if they're big secrets, so they're not really practical anyway, right? So he said, no, it's not so. Rabbi Shimon, first of all, there's a commandment to try to understand God as much as you can. And there's a commandment to think into God. Think as much as you can. And there certainly is a commandment to love God. You have to love God with all of your heart. You can't do that unless you understand something about God. You can't just love God because it's a commandment, so you fake, loving God like an actor, fakes, loving his father or loving something like that. He doesn't even know the man. He's just faking it, does all the actions which you have to do. Love is a genuine thing you have to do. So that's what Rabbi Shimon did. Rabbi Shimon, by explaining these deep ideas of God, he brought God, the reality, the infiniteness of God, to be more accessible. So when we say God, we shouldn't think we're talking about some sort of a spiritual man or some sort of a power that that looks down on us and he'll answer our prayers. Those things are true. Those are true. But that's not the essence of what God is. God is completely unfathomable. And Rabbi Shimon showed us how unfathomable he is because he explained levels of godliness that previously we thought were just faith. Just suddenly he revealed these deep levels, and we realized that faith in God is much, much, much deeper than that. It's much, much more, incomprehensible than we can possibly think. Let's go. Day that it passes away, therefore there's a bit of the Yeter al even more Tabros, when you join together all of the service, so there makes a new light on all of the previous days. כשם שכאשר מצטרפות, למשל, אותיות מספר, just like letters will add up together, right? 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, or 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, that's up. שכל אחד מהם, each one, self, יש לו מובן מיוחד. Each number has a different implication. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm sorry, I made a mistake. Not numbers. I don't know why I said numbers. Letters. If you add up letters together, right? Aleph, Beit, Gimel, Dalet. Each letter by itself has a meaning. Aleph, if you write an Aleph on Shabbat, so that's a sin. When you put these, in other words, a letter is a thing. When you put the letters together, however, then all of a sudden it makes a new thing, a word. All right? Al yedezebo muvan chadash. By means of this, there is a new meaning. Hanovea mitziruf otiyot, from these letters. Before you had the letter bayit, beit, yud, tuf. What are they? 3 letters. We put them together. It means bayit. It means a house. Suddenly remember, my house. I remember my house. I remember my mother. So what is it? Just 3 letters. But as soon as you put these 3 letters together, suddenly there's a whole new meaning. Same thing in a person's life. Each day is something special. But when you put them all together, suddenly there's a whole new meaning. It brings a whole new dimension of meaning into the letters. Shehu tochen ateva, which is the real content of the letter, namely the general light, which is superior to all of it. Each and every one of the letters has a meaning. But all of them all together, there's a whole new thing than just a bunch of letters. Suddenly you have a word, and the word has meaning to it. Letters didn't have meaning. Okay, Herschel. Okashem shebashad, shemitztarfim, esra, b'nei adam. Like when you join 10 people, shekol echad me'am, that each one has a godly soul. Notzer mashu chadash, there's a new thing, a minyan. Hasharat HaShechina, and the Shechina, God's presence, rests on these 10 people. According to this, we can understand what's so great about Lag BaOmer. Lag BaOmer is the day of the passing away of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. In other words, why? Kakol shalyata gdola erko. As great as Rabbi Shimon was, and as great as his service of God was, b'chayav, in his life, kebitu, like it says, b'chad katira at katarna. Rabbi Shimon said, in one knot, K-N-O-T, I am tied to you. Beyachida, Beilahita, in you, God, I am one. In you, God, I am inflamed. Hari, Arko Shalmash and Notzar B'yom Istalkuto, as great as Rabbi Shimon was all of his life, but the greatness that he had on the day when he passed away is even greater. Why? Because it's all the days joined together to make a whole new unity. So the last day of his life was greater in 2 ways. First of all, on the last day, this is the day that's the culmination of all of his life. And also on the last day, all of his life, everything that he did to serve God, it all joins together to make one big unity that's much higher than any of the individual components. Even the last day itself. The Zegam movement, that's what it means by Moshe Rabbeinu. And Moshe Rabbeinu said, 50 gates of understanding were created in the world. All of them were given to Moshe, except for one. It says, only on the last day of his life, he merited to the 50th gate of understanding, Har Navo, the Nun Bo. Buried on Har Navo, on the Nun, which is in it. So that's Moshe merited on the last day of his life to the 50th gate of understanding. 50th gate, which according to Kabbalah means basically the ultimate understanding of God. That's what Moshe got. When did he get it? The last day of his life. Okay, Herschel. Kech, Yuvan, Nemar, Midrash, also it says about the Pasuk in the Torah, Ki lo yareni adam b'chai. A person cannot see me and live. Says in the Midrash, Lo yareni adam, a person cannot see me, b'chai. and the angels. Shafilu Chayot HaKodesh, even these angels, which are called Chayot HaKodesh, Chai, they cannot see God. Because these angels, we're learning about that in the morning, they are found under the heavens. Afterwards, it says by the tzaddikim that when they are alive, they cannot see God. But after they die, they can see God. What does it mean? That the angels cannot see God, but tzaddikim, on the last day of their life, they can see God. If so, we got a question. What's the question? Nishalot hashala, that also the angels, these are angels, the highest level of angels, the Chayot HaKodesh, they cannot see God. How can it be that tzaddikim, when they die, they can't see God? An angel is lower than a person. How can it be that a tzaddik, he sees what the angels can't see? If you want to say no, the fact is the souls are really higher than angels are. Souls come from Atzilut. Angels are only from the world of Bria. No, if so, why do the tzaddikim have to wait till the day they die to see? They have souls. Why can't they see God when they're alive? Okay, you with me? Answer. The feel more, now we can understand why. The first time when a person passes away, it's better than all of the other days of his life, because on that last day that he's alive, all of the days of his life join together. Ha'ora ola al kulam, and it makes a new type of a light, greater than all of them, greater than all the other previous days of his life. This is the day when he finishes serving God, everything all joins in, a new, high, godly revelation, feeling that wasn't in any of the other days of his life. So that's why Rabbi Shimon, it says that tzaddikim, and when they pass away, they can see God. But when? When they pass away. When they're alive, not. And what does it mean when they pass away? The last day of their life, as they're passing away, they can see God. This is a very incredible thing, especially if you look at what Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai did when he was alive, how high and holy he was. And that last day that he passed away, it must have been just something incredible. And that's why so many people go up to Miron on Lag Bomer. Let's take a short break. Mr. Smith, if you want